Okay, for this next example, we're given a couple of different things. We're told that CE and BD are perpendicular, and angle CAB and angle CAD are congruent. We want to prove the two triangles are congruent. So again, you look at the picture and you mark off what you need to mark. Because the two lines are perpendicular, CE and BD, we know that those are both 90 degrees, therefore they're congruent to each other. We also know that AE is congruent to itself because it's a part of both triangles. And then the third part is a little bit tricky. They tell us that CAB and CAD are congruent. Now, CAB and BAE are supplements, and CAD and DAE are supplements. So these two angles right here are supplements of the two top angles here. Since they're supplements, we know they're congruent to each other. We have a theorem called the congruent supplements theorem. So we would use this in this case. And if we look at it carefully, we can see that, for example, just to make it more inductive for you, let's say this was 120 and that was 120. Well, then both of these would have to be 60 in order for these to be 120 because they're supplements of each other. So we've got those two angles congruent. We've got this side congruent to itself and those two angles congruent. So therefore, the two triangles are congruent by angle side angle. And again, this is a flow proof, but what you do is you'd start off with this on your first statement and reason. Your second statement and reason would be this, and your third statement and reason would be this. Then you'd go to your fourth statement and reason, which would be this, and then finally you'd get to your fifth, sixth, and seventh statements and reasons. You'd state that the two lines were perpendicular. Therefore, those two angles are 90 degrees, and since they're both 90 degrees, by either definition of perpendicular lines or the idea that perpendicular lines form right angles, we could then state that these two angles are congruent because all right angles are congruent. And since we have our angle, our side, and our angle, we could say the two triangles were congruent by angle side angle. And in this last part, it asks, what if ABE and ADE were congruent? What could we use besides angle side angle? We'll go back to the picture. And now they're telling us that ABE and ADE are congruent. Well, we already know that these are perpendicular, so we could still use that. And we would know that AE is congruent to AE. So here, if you notice going around the figure, we have an angle side here and an angle side here. So that's what we could use. We could use angle side angle in this case. And we're done. Thank you.